Facebook chat. I am Ann Metcalf, and I just love delving into conscious eating and conscious living. And the other day, actually, it was a little bottle of almond flavoring that fell out of my cupboard. And I looked at the back label. What are the ingredients? Because you and I both know that as consumers, we need to be looking at what is in the products that we are buying. And as consumers, we can make some very valuable and healthier choices on what we eat. And so today's little chat is on that. What are imitation flavorings? And so this one was artificial almond extract, and the ingredient was propylene glycol, water, and an imitation almond flavoring oil, I think. Anyway, three ingredients, two of which were highly suspicious. Propylene glycol, which goes into antifreeze. And I'm going, what is it doing in our food? Where is Health Canada on looking at ingredients in the food we eat? So, you know what? If they're not looking after our health, then we need to. That's our responsibility. We want these healthy bodies. This is the beautiful body we have here on our planet Earth, and we need to keep it as healthy as we can. And so I went to actually Chat GPT, and I asked all sorts of questions. I'm going, what is imitation? What is natural? And so today's little chat is about that. So real versus imitation flavoring. What's really in that bottle? And have you looked at the label on your baking extracts? A bottle of imitation almond flavoring often contains propylene glycol, water, and synthetic flavor oil. Like, what is that? What is the natural source of synthetic flavor oil? And why isn't Health Canada, which is where I live, why aren't they investigating all these things? So, what does that really mean for your health and your baking? Imitation flavorings are made to mimic just one or two flavor molecules, like vanillin, fake vanilla, or benzaldehyde in fake almond. But real extracts made from whole ingredient, like vanilla bean or bitter almonds, contain hundreds of natural compounds that work together to give deep, rich flavor, and sometimes even health benefits like antioxidant or antimicrobial support. Now, propylene glycol is a common carrier in imitation extracts. It's used in antifreeze, cosmetics, and vape liquids. And while it's approved as safe in small doses, it can irritate sensitive systems, especially in kids whose detox pathways are still developing. So, what goes into the icing of those cute little cupcakes that somebody made or the store is making? Do you know what's in those cute little cupcakes and icing and all the little glitter things? Now, some artificial compounds like diacetyl used in butter flavor have even shown the ability to cross the blood-brain barrier in animal studies. And that's becoming more and more important these days. Does it cross the blood-brain barrier? If it does, that's affecting our brain, not to mention all the other cells in our body. And it raises concerns about long-term exposure. On the other hand, natural extracts often carry compounds to support digestion, microbiome health, and even mood through the gut-brain axis. Choosing real extracts is more than a flavor decision. It's a wellness choice. It's a return to the simple, wise practices of the past, steeping herbs and spices, making infusions, and building flavor slowly and soulfully. So, some insights on imitation versus natural flavoring. Well, chemical simplicity versus natural complexity. Imitation flavorings often mimic just one dominant molecule, like vanillin in vanilla. Natural extracts contain hundreds of volatile compounds that interact synergistically, giving depth of flavor and potential health benefit, such as antioxidant and antimicrobial properties in real vanilla, citrus peel, or peppermint oil. Now, propylene glycol, grass. All right, and so grass is an American standard. I'm not sure what it is in Canada, but it's generally recognized as safe, but it's not harmless. And actually, that whole system is being looked at as we speak because over 10,000 additives are put in so that the American food diet and all their processed food, whereas in Europe, I think it's something like 400 because they have to be tested and they have to be safe. Propylene glycol is generally recognized as safe in small doses by regulatory bodies. However, it can act as a skin irritant, gut disruptor, and a neurotoxin in high or frequent exposure, especially for kids or those with sensitivities. It's also used in antifreeze, vape liquids, and industrial deicers. Oh, how nice! And they put it in the artificial flavoring. Oh, and I've actually even seen it in um, salad dressing. Look at your label. Read every label of every food you buy in the store. And that should raise a red flag. And for children, they're more vulnerable. Their detox pathways, their liver, kidney, and the skin are still developing. Even small exposures to synthetic food chemicals may contribute to cumulative effects like behavioral changes, sensitivities, or histamine reactions. Flavor and the gut-brain axis. Some artificial flavoring carriers like diacetyl in butter flavor have been shown in animal studies to cross the blood-brain barrier and may impact brain health. Now, the artificial butter they use in the movie theaters, it's not real butter. It would be way too expensive. You'd have to pay much more for your popcorn. What is in it? Find out. Real food flavor, in contrast, often carry polyphenols and bioactive compounds that nourish the microbiome, support digestion, and they regulate the mood through the gut-brain connection. Now, DIY and ancestral practices. Now, making your own extract is not just about health, it's about return to ancestral food wisdom. It deepens your connection to ingredients, to the earth, to the soil, to the plants, reduces plastic packaging, and lets you skip the hidden synthetics. Imitation versus natural flavor, extracts, and bacon. And I'll put this graph in the Facebook posting. Right now, it's just scattered all over my page, but it looks at the different imitation and natural flavoring. And many of the natural flavorings have alcohol, and some of them are now even without alcohol. And so I'll just skip over that part, and you'll be able to see that on the chart in the Facebook page when I post that. And so we've got all these other additives, and do they really know what it's doing to our body, right? Modern science is showing us more and more, and we need to be our own advocate. So let's see, a homemade almond extract, alcohol based. So you take your vodka or other neutral alcohol, half a cup some raw bitter almonds or slivered, potentially organic. And then you crush the almonds, add them, and you cover them with vodka, store in a dark place for 8 weeks, shaking every week. And then you strain and store in a dropper bottle. And then there's an alcohol free, and it uses a glycerin based. So glycerin, if you're vegan, probably not a good option. There are food grade vegetable glycerin, so you can check that out. And it's similar, and you put it into a sterilized glass jar because you don't want to add any extra bugs to it. You add the almonds, and you let that sit in a dark place for 6 to 8 weeks, shaking regularly. Strain and store in the refrigerator. Or refrigeration can extend the shelf life. Now, a note is glycerin-based extracts are slightly sweeter and may have a shorter shelf life, 6 to 12 months, than the alcohol version. So you choose. So closing thoughts. Our kitchens are little apothecaries. Every drop we stir in matters, not just for flavor, but for health. Let's choose real whenever we can. So I hope you've enjoyed this little chat on artificial and more natural flavorings. Which ones do you use? Do you just automatically buy the organic? And sometimes you can't get that flavoring, so you opt out for the artificial. Look at the ingredients, and do you really want to be putting those artificial propylene glycols and whatever those oils, those imitation oil is, knowing it comes from petroleum? Anyway, food for thought, as they say. And we are our own advocates, and we can be the scientists, do the research, and you can make your decisions. I choose to go the more natural route because that is that divine design of who we are. That is who we can be. And we can live a whole lot longer. And those artificial foods, preservatives, uh, our gut microbiome doesn't know what it is. What is it doing to our body? Anyway, I'll let you sort that one out yourself. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next week. Toodaloo.